Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. So today we'll deal with the session. The session is on creative and critical thinking skills. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah. So let us start the session with creative and critical thinking skill. First of all, just I would like to know, you can put your answers in the chat box. What do you, if I tell you about thinking, what do you mean by thinking? Thinking क्या होता है? What is thinking? Anyone? Just put your answer in the chat box. Thinking, जो हम बोलते हैं thinking क्या है? What is thinking? Yes, any answer? And why do we call critical and thinking as a skill? Yeah, we can speak freely. Yes, very good. I can get some answers. Where we exercise our brain, जब हम अपना दिमाग का use करते हैं, तो वो thinking होता है. Where we exercise our brain. Okay, that is thinking. So thinking, actually it refers to some mental activity that help us to understand. We understand by thinking, we connect, we analyze, we create ideas. ये सब हमारे दिमाग में चलता है. So thinking, when I say thinking is an exercise, it is a brain exercise, mental exercise. Okay, so that is called thinking. And then 21st century, everybody knows two skills which are very important in 21st century skills are critical and creative thinking skills. And then my next question is, why do we call critical and thinking as skills? इसको हम skills क्यों बोलते हैं? Why do we call it as skills? Any answer? Why it is a skill? Yes, anyone? Why do we say that it is a skill? Yes. स्किल क्या है? हम लोग लिसनिंग स्किल होती है, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल है, स्पीकिंग स्किल होती है. सो व्हाट हैपेंस? स्किल मींस टू विच वी कैन एनहांस, वी कैन डेवलप, हम उसको बढ़ा सकते हैं, वो एक स्किल होता है. इसलिए क्रिटिकल एंड क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग भी एक स्किल है. नाउअडेज वी कैन नॉट से, हम अपने बच्चों को ये नहीं बोल सकते ये तो जन्म से ही बेवकूफ है, या ये स्लो लर्नर है, ये जन्म से ही इसको इतना ही ये सीख सकता है. We cannot say that because scientists have proved that it is not an inborn quality. ये कोई जन्म से कोई क्वालिटी नहीं है जिसको हम डेवलप नहीं कर सकते. तो थिंकिंग जो है, दैट इज व्हाई वी से क्रिटिकल एंड थिंकिंग इट इज अ स्किल. So it is not a quality which we cannot develop, we cannot enhance. Okay, so it can be developed, it can be enhanced. So that is the reason we say that thinking is a skill. Now my next question is, what is the difference between critical and creative thinking? बहुत ही common है दोनों, critical thinking और creative thinking. What is the difference between the two? What is critical thinking and what is like creative thinking? What is the difference? Anyone? Critical and creative, दोनों में कुछ एक difference? Maybe word which is different in critical and creative. Yes. Yeah, somebody has written. Yeah, in critical we say that we analyze. Critical में क्या होता है? हम लोग कोई भी चीज को analyze करते हैं, evaluate करते हैं ideas को, and then we think about, we analyze, then we apply those ideas. So that is critical thinking. तो critical में क्या हुआ? We analyze, we concept is there, we concept उसका concept निकालते हैं, उसको evaluate करते हैं ideas को, and then With evidence, we form a judgment about it. So that is, we are critically thinking something. कोई भी चीज हमें दिखाया जाता है, सपोज उसको हम सही है या गलत बताने के लिए हमको उसको क्रिटिकली सोचना पड़ेगा, क्रिटिकली थिंक करना है. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग. एंड क्रिएटिव में व्हेन वी कम अप विथ सम न्यू आइडियाज, न्यू अप्रोच, जब हम कोई नया अप्रोच, फ्रेश अप्रोच के साथ अपनी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रखते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग. So there is a difference between a critical and a creative. Yes, logical होते हैं. Critical is logically when we think about something, we evaluate something, we analyze that, we critically we are thinking it. And creative way, when we come up with fresh ideas, when we come up with new approach, new point of view, then we call it as creative thinking. So आज के session में, in today's session, actually it is a very long session, very deep, but in 1 hour, we'll try to just get a glimpse of what is critical and creative thinking and how do we apply it in our classrooms. Okay. Now, thinking as a skill. So as I told you, thinking is a skill because we can develop it. हम उसको बढ़ा सकते हैं, उसको enhance कर सकते हैं, उसके ऊपर work करके हम उसको अच्छा कर सकते हैं अपना skill को. So that is why thinking is called as a skills. Now, 4 point of view, I'll tell you all what is the 4 corners we call it. So these are some 4 point of views. I just want you to write agree or disagree in this. Okay. The first is a person's IQ or intelligence is fixed at birth. So teaching thinking as a skill is not very effective. What do you think about it? कि कोई भी एक person का IQ जो है वो it is already fixed at birth. So does it affect when we teach it as a skill? Is it not very effective or is it effective? So do you agree or do you disagree with the statement? I want to. Yes, maximum have written disagree. Yes, disagree. So nobody agrees with it. So hum log sab, we are at same pace that to our students we can teach, we can enhance their intelligence. We cannot say that wo birth se hi uska wo birth by birth he is not intelligent, he is slow learner by birth. We cannot say this. So that means we all are on the same page and we disagree with the statement that teaching thinking as a skill is not effective. Okay. So a maximum of you have told me you disagree. Yes. Now here also the scientists have also proved it. See, students with a fixed mindset versus student with a growth mindset. Here students with a fixed mindset means student jo by birth hai unka. So believe that their intelligence and abilities are fixed and that personal effort has little impact. तो ये लोग बिलीव करते हैं कि बाय बर्थ ही इनका जो भी इंटेलिजेंस है बाय बर्थ है, एबिलिटी इज बाय बर्थ, एंड दे बिलीव दैट पर्सनल एफर्ट से बहुत ही कम इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा. सो दैट इज द रीजन they believe this. But student who has a growth mindset, they believe that the intelligence and abilities can grow through personal effort. So personal effort से intelligence हम बढ़ा सकते हैं. And next, feel pressure to look smart, believing they are defined by their natural abilities. So बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जिनका even the if you say appearance, physical appearance, कोई बहुत obese होते हैं, कोई बहुत ही मतलब देखने में बहुत अच्छे नहीं दिखते हैं because वो लोग बहुत obese है. तो वो लोग ये सोच लेते हैं कि हमारा तो ऐसे ही रहेगा, हम तो जन्म से ही ऐसे हैं तो हम ऐसे ही रहेंगे. बट अभी साइंटिस्ट ने प्रूव किया है कि जो भी बच्चे मतलब जिन बच्चों का माइंडसेट जो है वो ग्रोथ माइंडसेट है, वो लोग स्मार्ट लग सकते हैं विथ लिटिल एफर्ट एंड विथ देयर कैपेबिलिटी दे कैन गेट स्मार्ट. सो द नेक्स्ट इज फील प्रेशर टू लुक स्मार्ट, बिलीविंग दे आर डिफाइंड बाय देयर नेचुरल एबिलिटीज एंड दे फील मोटिवेटेड टू गेट स्मार्ट नोइंग दैट एफर्ट मैक्सिमाइजेस एबिलिटीज. तो ये लोग जो है, जो बच्चे दिस growth mindset के हैं, they believe that with little effort we can get motivated and we can look smart also. So the scientists have also proved that intelligence ho, smartness ho, it is not by birth but it can be enhanced with effort. सो हम भी अपने क्लासरूम में जब बच्चों को देखते हैं, हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि दे आर द स्लो लर्नर्स, दे उनका तो जन्म से ये स्लो है, सो ये लोग नहीं कर पाएंगे. बट वी हैव टू enhance with our effort, we have to enhance their skill, we have to develop their skill. Okay, we have to motivate them so it can be grown, they can become intelligent, they can become smart enough. Now the second one is, in order to develop thinking skills, we must increase the difficulty level of the syllabus. How many of you agree with this, or how many of you disagree with this? Can I see this in the chat box? So in order to develop thinking skill, we must increase the difficulty level of the syllabus. Yes, agree? Yes. No, some have written agree, some are telling they don't agree. Agree, don't agree. Okay, now let us try to understand how to बच्चों का थिंकिंग स्किल बढ़ाने, बच्चों को सोचने के लिए मजबूर करने के लिए what should we do? Should we increase the difficulty level of the students, of the syllabus, sorry. Should we increase the difficulty level of the syllabus? So many are writing yes, agree. Now let us try to understand. There is a difference between difficulty and complexity. Okay, कॉम्प्लेक्स करना कोई चीज को और कोई चीज को डिफिकल्ट करना. डिफिकल्ट करने में क्या, जिसमें बहुत, सपोज लेट मी टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ मैथ्स. हम ऐसे सम बच्चों को डिफिकल्ट देते हैं कि जिसमें बहुत कैलकुलेशन है, लंबा चौड़ा कैलकुलेशन है, एंड द चिल्ड्रन आर गोइंग ऑन कैलकुलेटिंग टू फाइंड द आंसर. दैट इज डिफिकल्टी. With that, do we think that we are increasing their thinking skill? No, we are not increasing. But in the other hand, if we give a question where they can think about the answer, that is complexity. So we can increase the complexity of the problem rather than difficulty. Complex में क्या होता है कि दिमाग लगा के they have to think, they have to use their brain and come up with the answer. Maybe उसका solution बहुत छोटा है, बहुत लंबा सोल्यूशन नहीं है, बहुत छोटा है. तभी अभी सीबीएसई ने कॉन्सेप्चुअल बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस को बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंस दिया है. सीबीएसई ने दैट कॉन्सेप्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, सो दैट इज कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी. सो rather than increasing the difficulty level of the syllabus, we should focus on increasing the complexity level of the syllabus. We should give more of complex questions rather than difficult questions. So here it is proved that how much effort is needed to answer the question, address a problem, or accomplish a task, rather than what kind of thinking or knowledge must be used in that to address the problem. That is important. कितना हम effort दे रहे हैं उसको solve करने के लिए, उसके बजाय we should think that how much of knowledge और हम लोग लगा रहे हैं, how much we are thinking about that question to find the solution. So that is more important. So how many people can answer a question, address a problem, or accomplish a task correctly or successfully? So with that, we see it is easy to hard. But here we should say, see that how many ways, कितने तरीका से हम वो address कर सकते हैं वो question. How many ways the answer, the problem can be addressed to get the answer. So that is important. So rather than increasing the difficulty level of the syllabus, we should focus more on increasing the complexity of the problem syllabus or the question, whatever we give to the children. Next, critical thinking and creative thinking skills are completely different from each other. How many of you think this? They are completely different from each other. Agree or disagree? Again. So critical thinking and creative thinking, they are completely different from each other. How many of you agree? Disagree? Agree? Yeah, how many of you think it is critical thinking skills and creative thinking skills are completely different from each other? So many have written agree also, many have written disagree also. Let us think. See the traditional distinction, पहले जमाने का distinction, the traditional distinction is creative thinking को हम लोग बोलते थे generating ideas, and critical is analyzing ideas. Okay, then creative is divergent, critical is convergent, then lateral thinking it is vertical thinking, Creative mein possibilities are there, critical mein probabilities are there. Then the idea is generated in creative, but that evaluation is done in critical. Then in intuition is there, logic or reason is there in this critical. So suspended judgment is there, but here judgment is there. But now we will see that now the scientists have proved that a dynamic and interdependent relationship between critical and creative thinking, that we have to use both our critical thinking also and creative thinking also to analyze a problem. Then in creative thinking, matlab we imagine what is the solution should be. After we imagine, see critical में क्या करते हैं हम लोग, critical कोई भी when a problem comes, whenever a problem is given to us, first we analyze the problem. So that means we are critically thinking about the problems. ठीक है? Analyzing मतलब critically we are thinking about the problem. Then creative में we are imagining the solution. जब हम imagine करते हैं कि उसका क्या solution होगा, that means we are creatively thinking. That comes under creative thinking. जब हमने analyze कर लिया, imagine कर लिया, now we are planning a solution. Now when we plan a solution, again it is a critical thinking. We critically think and plan a solution. After that we apply the solution. Apply it creatively. अपने नए approach से हम apply कर रहे हैं solution का. So that is again coming into creative. Then what do? We evaluate the solution. उसके बाद हम लोग evaluate करते हैं कि what is the solution will be, how it will be. And then if you see that there is a scope of improvement, we again apply, give an innovative approach to it. And then we improve the solution. And then we implement the solution. So here we can see both critical and creative thinking, they are interdependent. They have an interdependency. So it is not different. So critical and creative thinking are not different from each other. So both are interdependent. I hope I'm clear in this. So now for everybody, is it clear that what is critical thinking, what is creative thinking, and how these both thinkings are important? They both are interdependent, and we can enhance the critical and creative thinking skills in our children also. Next, critical thinking is more important than creative thinking in the classroom. So this is again a open-ended question where one can think that critical is more important, one can think creative is more important. But here again we have the same thing, that both we have to think critically also, creatively also, and then we will come with a solution. Now, what is the significance? In the classroom, usually what we do, the main thing is we have to see, we have to think, and we have to wonder. And now in the classroom, maximum of us, what we do, I expect like this character. I expect you all to be independent, innovative, critical thinkings who will do exactly as I say. Yes or no? We do this. So we say exactly do what I say, but you have to be innovative also. You have to be independent also. You have to think critically also, but do exactly what I say, which is we don't give space to the children to think. Okay. Now, why do we need critical thinking in classroom? Any answer? You can put it in the chat box. Why do you think we require critical thinking in the classroom? We all know we require critical thinking in the classroom. Yes. Why do we need critical thinking? To increase the depth of the knowledge. Superficial knowledge नहीं चाहिए कि बच्चा rote learning कर लिया and they रट्टा मारे, they have done rote learning and they are answering the question. But we require the depth. The children should know the concept. The children should go deep into this. So depth of the knowledge is important for the children. We want our children to increase their knowledge deeply rather than superficially by just mugging up and just answering. So to have the depth of the knowledge, we need in our classrooms, we need critical thinking in our classrooms. So now, how do we increase the depth of the knowledge? Okay. You all must have understood lot of sessions. Everybody have gone through Bloom's taxonomy. But here one more is there, that is Webb's depth of knowledge. So it was Bloom's taxonomy was developed by in 1956, and then it was revised at 2000. Okay, now here you can see by Norman Webb. This is Webb's depth of knowledge. So here in Bloom's, the pyramid goes like this. First is remembering. That is, I think it is very common. Everybody applies in the lesson plan also. Remembering, understanding, then applying, analyzing, evaluating, and then it comes creating. So here what happens in Bloom's taxonomy, the framework for classifying learning is based on different levels of cognitive or complexity. So we used to write learning objectives and tasks, and then we focus on certain verbs. कि define है तो it is coming under remembering. So understanding है तो it is coming, then evaluate है तो it is coming under evaluating. But Norman Webb ने जो हमें बताया, he has divided this all into 4 parts. So first is recall. Recall, again it is like remembering and understanding together. So it is recall. Then he has made the second pyramid as skill, where we have to develop. We have to, whatever we have understood, we have to develop that. Okay, then he has done extended thinking and strategic thinking. So these extended thinking and strategic thinking is the main creative and critical thinking. The third level and the fourth level is the extended learning and the strategic thinking. So model to analyze how deep students must think to answer questions and complete activities. So now levels are not a hierarchy, but just a description of thinking process. Now here the children have to focus on process of thinking to identify depth of knowledge, used to examine how deep a student learns the material. So in this Webb's Norman's depth of knowledge is generally used, in which the students have to think, and their process of thinking increases in this. Now this is the level. See, you can see here what are in the questions, which words you can use. Level 1 is recall. Level 2 is skill, that is concept. Level 3 is strategic thinking, and level 4 is extended thinking. Okay, so in level 1, the questions can be given like draw, define, calculate, repeat, recall, list. Okay, then in level 2, you can give infer, categorize, classify, separate, compare between the two, summarize. And then in level 3, we can give revise, develop, and logically assess. Okay, then explain. So differentiate, investigate, compare between the two things. And then comes the level 4, in which design, then connect, create, prove, okay, critic, all this comes under level 4. So the depth of knowledge comes is developed by Norman Webb. So which is different, which is quite, it has enhanced form of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, which level do critical thinking and creative thinking fall under, and why? So we all have seen now which under which level it falls. Critical thinking and creative thinking, it falls under level 3 and level 4. In level 3, it is more increased level of depth of knowledge is increased. And then in level 4, the children will think and try to come up with new approach. Critically, they will think and come up. So it is under level 3 and level 4. Now, next is the building blocks of logical reasoning. Now, again, in critical and creative thinking, logically, we have to reason. So in the first part of the logical reasoning is inference. That is knowing the unknown from the known. So in most of the questions, usually who all are English teachers or Hindi teachers, हम लोग देते हैं ना questions in the poem, infer from the above lines. What you know from what is unknown to, you have to come from knowing the unknown from the known. That is inference. So usually we give this inference. Okay, what is inference? When we come to know from the unknown thing, we know something. So inference refers to the logical process which with new conclusions, where new conclusions are arrived from a given premises. It is a method of creating new knowledge from prior or given knowledge. So suppose poem का 2 lines है, कोई भी 2 lines are there of the poem. So we have the prior knowledge कि lines are in front of us. So we have to infer from that line. हम लोग उसका क्या knowledge निकाल सकते हैं? What is the meaning? We can infer from that line. So that is comes under inference. Okay, that is the first part is inference. Logical process, it is refers to the logical process which with new conclusions are arrived at from the given premises. So already something is given or justify, okay, or something like that. The given statement is given. We have to infer that what is the meaning of that statement. We have to justify what is the meaning of that statement. And we have to use our new knowledge, and it comes from our prior knowledge. So again, we are using critical and creative thinking skills. Now next is how to infer. Now next is for reading literacy. Reading literacy also we inference in textual comprehension. That is when we read, when a child reads, what I read, pick specific pages, excerpts, lines or words from the text as evidence. ऑलरेडी नोन नॉलेज है जिसमें हम एक जब रीडिंग करने देते हैं बच्चों को, क्या करते हैं हम लोग, बोलते हैं एक पेज निकालो, पिक अप सम लाइंस फ्रॉम देयर, देन दे हैव टू पिक अप द लाइन what they already know, use prior knowledge or logical understanding of the context. जो हमको पहले से पता है, we know the meaning. So यहाँ में क्या हो गया, we have read it. बच्चों ने एक चैप्टर या एक पोएट्री पढ़ी रीड की, उसके बाद they know what is this, they have understood the context of the chapter. Now they have to infer, that is add up what I read and what I already know to come up to a new conclusion from the text. ये क्वेश्चन रहता है ना, infer from the text, infer what you have read. So that is the first step of logical reasoning, that is inference. So in reading literacy, how is inference done? We pick up the question from a comprehension or a passage, then we understand the context and then read what I have read we will see and what I already know we will see, and then come up with a new conclusion. So that is inference. Now next, focus on reading literacy, that is strategies to teach inference. How can we teach inference? These are some strategies which are given. First is modeling. Modeling is model reading the teacher will do. Then what makes you say that? Thinking routine. Then when after reading is done, the teacher will ask the question, what makes you think? What makes you say that? Why have I said this? So that kind of a thinking is involved in this. Then it can come under picture reading also. When some picture is given, the children will read the picture, think about, they will see, read and wonder what it is. Sorry. So they will think about that picture after the reading. And then transcript conversation is there. Then textual passages are there. So all these are used under modeling and picture, this reading, focus on reading literacy. So here we infer from the knowledge. Next comes inductive reasoning. That is from specific to general. Inductive means from specific we go to general. That is 4 types of reasonings are there. First we have done inference, then it is inductive reasoning, specific to general. Like this is a puzzle kind of a thing. This which box is next in the sequence and what makes you say that? So here this is a kind of a puzzle. Which box in the sequence? We see the pattern and then we come from specific, we are coming to general conclusion over here. So in inductive reasoning, usually the what happens? We come from a specific reasoning to a general reasoning. Okay. So it is a process through which a pattern is detected through multiple and repeated observation to infer a generalization. Here in general, what we infer, what we see generally, we can infer from is. Here one more example is there, like orange 1 is orange. Okay, one is orange, orange 1 is orange in color, orange 2 is orange in color, orange 3 is orange in color. Orange 999 is orange in color. Therefore, all oranges are orange in color. So ये हम लोग बहुत ही specific से हम general statement में आए हैं कि जब ये सब orange color है, so that means all oranges are orange in color. Next is acid 1 has pH value below 7. Acid 2 also has pH value below 7. acid 3 has pH value below 7, acid N has pH value below 7. So therefore, our statement is that all acids have a pH value below 7. So from the specific, we are coming to general. Getting it with the example? All are from a specific, we come to general. So it is inductive, it is called inductive reasoning. Okay. Next, focus on scientific literacy, inductive arguments in scientific generalization. So in inductive arguments help make scientific generalization that can predict or describe natural world. Example, tiger 1 has stripes, tiger 9876 has stripes, tiger N has stripes. So all tigers have stripes. So these are this is called inductive reasoning, where we can see from specific, we are coming to general conclusion. Same thing in mathematics also, one example is given. 4 into minus 2, here you can see repeated addition, the sum is minus 8. Again, multiplication 3 into minus 7, here all negative is there, minus 21 is the sum. Again, you can see 5 into minus 6, minus 30 is the sum. So what we can infer about the signs of the sun? Since the sum is always negative, the pattern suggests that the product is a positive integer and a negative integer is negative. So again, from specific, we are coming to general in mathematics literacy also. Next is deductive reasoning. Now the next reasoning we will come to is deductive reasoning. Now what is deductive reasoning? Here from general principle, we are moving to special case. Okay. So here we will see, so also called top-down logic or deductive is used where generalization to work down towards specific conclusion. That is, from general we are moving to specific conclusion. उसमें क्या था inductive में, from specific we move to general. Here from general we are moving to specific conclusion. Like see over here, all acids have a pH value below 7. HCl is an acid. So here, therefore, HCl acid has a pH value below 7. So now this is this comes under deductive reasoning. Here you can see general statement is given and then we are coming to a specific statement. So here this example proves that here deductive argument is there. Okay. Next, now validity and truth. When both the premises are true, the conclusion will be, when both the premises are true, the when both the premises are true, the conclusion will be true. When any one of the premises are false, when any one of the premises when both the premises are true, the conclusion will be true. When any one of the premises are false, the conclusion will be false. When both the premises are false, the conclusion will be false. This is validity and truth. Now let us think critically and logically in this. Let us think critically, and we use critical thinking over here. Logically valid arguments need not always be true. It is also possible to arrive at a true conclusion with valid reasoning. Thinking critically may not be the only way of justifying or proving something. So 2 is a number, 1 is also a number, so 2 is equal to 1. Next. So a few observations and much reasoning lead to error. Many observations and a little reasoning to truth. So when we see something, when we observe something and we use, what are reasons we use? We lead to error. But when we observe and with little of reasoning, we can come to the truth. It is told by Alexis Carrel. Now next reasoning is abductive reasoning. Okay. In this, we have seen deductive, we have seen inductive. Abductive में क्या होता है? Where the conclusion will be maybe. ये इस तरह का reason होता है where the answer may be maybe. Maybe the answer is correct. Okay, we are not very sure about it. Maybe it is correct. So incomplete observations, then best prediction may be true. Okay, general rule to specific conclusion, it is always true. And in inductive में specific to General, again, it is may be true. So usually in abductive reasoning, what we say, it can be true, it may be true. Okay, it is not necessary that every time it will be true, but it may be true. So abductive reasoning is the process in which one derives the best possible explanation from multiple alternatives by eliminating some and by interactively dismissing the others. The conclusion of abductive reasoning is possible or it may not be certain. So this is 4 kinds of reasoning. Now the creative building blocks of problem solving. So now when we give the questions to the children. Okay, when we give the questions to the children, what do you see? One is routine questions, that is, it is routine questions are there. Do not require students to use HOTS. Here, non-routine questions may require HOTS. Use clear procedures, and non-routine, increase the reasoning ability, use answers and procedures that are not immediately clear, encourage more than one solutions and strategy, expect more than one answer, challenge thinking skills, produce creative and innovative students, require solutions that are more than simply making decisions and choosing mathematical operations. This is very important for maths teachers. We should require solutions. We should give the questions where the solution should be there, in which it is not only just making decisions or choosing mathematical operations, but they should use their thinking skills. Require a suitable amount of time to solve it. Encourage group discussions in finding the right solution. Lot of brainstorming and all should be encouraged for finding the right solution. Okay. Next. Now, what is a scientific explanation? Who do you agree with and why? This is just an example of one question. Now, there are two, the 4 statements are there, Rita. I think a scientific explanation gives an answer and supports it with evidence. Sohan, I think a scientific explanation describes everything you know about a topic. I think, Ayan is saying, I think a scientific explanation uses a scientific concept to tell you how something works. Seema, I think a scientific explanation helps you convince someone else that your opinion is correct. Here, what do you agree with and why? Anybody, you can write this answer also in the chat box. Which explanation do you think is correct? Yes? Tell me. Yes? First option, I think a scientific explanation gives an answer and supports it with evidence. Yes? I think a scientific explanation uses a scientific concept to tell you how something works. Then I think a scientific explanation helps you convince someone else that your opinion is correct. So here you can say in some way, all of them are correct in some way. But more authentic is, I think a scientific explanation uses a scientific concept to tell you how something works. Now comes hypothesis. We all have heard about it, a tentative or proposed explanation for a phenomena that is subject to testing. Then what do you think will happen? What is happening? What actually happened compared to what you thought would happen? Yes? Yeah, option B. See, first we have to observe. First observation is there. Then hypothesis, a proposed, hypothetically we think about a solution. That is a proposed explanation. Then is the prediction, what we predict about it would happen if hypothesis is correct. Then test, see if the prediction actually happens, and then falsify if the prediction does not come true, and again go back to the hypothesis. So this is the flow chart or the flow diagram in which we have to see whether this happens we have to see whether how to come to a conclusion. First of all is observation. Then we have to tell our children to hypothetically think about a proposed explanation. Okay. And then predict would happen if hypothesis is correct. Okay. Then test, see if the prediction actually happens. And then if does not come true, then again go back to the hypothesis again. Then fostering critical and analyzing reliability of the source. So this is very important. This is very important, friends, because see, nowadays we are coming to lot of things are there nowadays available in internet, available in the social media. So all the more critical thinking and creative thinking, critically we have to think and examine whether whether it is correct or not, whether the news which is given, which has come, is it correct or not. We have to think it very critically now. What is given to us, what news is being spread out is correct or not. So how do we know whether we are, so all the more we have to develop the critical thinking and creative thinking in students for the information. Lot of sources are there. Wikipedia is there. Okay, then Google is there. WhatsApp is there. So how do we come to know whether those sources are correct or not? There is a test, CRAP test, what we call it. That is CRAP, C-R-A-P. Usme kya hai? Currency is there. Currency, that means timeliness of the information. You have to see that how much, what is the timeline when the information was there. Matlab, when did we come to know about the information? What is it? How did we come to know when? What is the timeline that वो कौन से year में information आया है? How it has come? That is currency. That means the timeliness of the information. Next comes the relevance. How the information fits your needs. That means how relevant is the information. That is relevance. Then comes the authority. That is the source of the information. कहाँ से ये information हमें मिला है? What is the source of the information? Then is the purpose, the reason of the information, why the information exists. इसका reason क्या है information का? Why it is observe, why the reason, why is it, मतलब existence, why it is existing, that is called, that is also there. That is the purpose of the this thing, that is called CRAP. Okay, so this is the CRAP test. You can note down this. Whenever we get an information, we should see the timeliness of the information, when that information has come, the relevance, how relevant it is, how it fits your needs, then authority, the source of the information, from where it has come, the source, then accuracy, reliable कर सकते हैं कि नहीं हम लोग, how much it is reliable, कितना correct है ये information, and what is the reason, the information, क्यों ये exist कर रहा है, why something is existing in Google, why something is existing in Wikipedia. We have to see the reason of the this thing, why it is existing. So this is the CRAP. We call it as CRAP test. Okay. Next. Now, strategic and critical evaluation. The what is truth? How do we evaluate whether it is true, whether whatever we are getting the information is true or not? First is knowledge claim. Now you can see over here, knowledge claim. So when do we accept and when do we reject? पहला तो एक knowledge आया. First of all, we should doubt the response, whether the response is correct. हम लोग ये नहीं कि blindly हम लोग जो भी WhatsApp में आता है, what we do, we blindly forward it. But we don't see whether this information is true or not. कहाँ से आया है, क्यों आया है, इसमें हम doubt नहीं करते. We should doubt it, doubt the response. Then we have to question. And what we have to question? Truth checks generate questions. We have to question, is the claim coherent with what we already know? Use reasoning for this. Does the claim correspond with how things really are? Examine karo evidence ke saath. Then is accepting the claim pragmatically useful? See if it works. Does it work? We have to use all these truth checks. These are truth checks. So here, this also, if you can note down. So first, when the knowledge, when something has come, when it is claiming that it is true, how do we do the truth check about it? Generate questions. So whatever is shown over here, For all this, main thing is required is the critical and creative thinking skills. We have to, if we do not have critical thinking, especially the logically, critically, if we do not think, we do not examine, then that means we are accepting whatever crap we are getting from anywhere. So to not to accept it, we have to check this. Okay, truth checks are there. We have to generate some questions within ourselves. First is claim coherent with what we already know? इसमें कुछ correlation है? Is it coherent? It is. Do we have some do we have some relation? What we already know, we have to reason it. Debate करते हैं ना हम लोग. We have to debate it. We have to reason it. Then does the claim correspond, okay, with how things really are? जो हम लोग को मिला है, जो भी claim कर रहा है ये knowledge सही है, तो क्या ये हम इसके साथ मिल रहा है? Is it corresponding with how things really are? We have to examine it with evidence. Then is accepting the claim useful? क्या useful है हम जो एक claim को accept करें? See if it works. Okay, if it works, we have to see if it works, we accept. If we are not sure, or we reject. So this is how whatever claim is there, whatever WhatsApp forwards we get, whatever we see in Google, whatever we see in Wikipedia, we have to analyze it using our critical thinking skills, and then we can come to a solution whether that claim, whether that information is true or not. So same way we need to explain our students also कि whatever you read, don't get carried away by the news, whatever you get to know, whatever information you are getting from sources, from different kinds of sources. Please do not get carried away from those informations. You have to critically think कि सही क्या है, गलत क्या है. Don't get just बोलते हैं ना हवा के जैसे बहुत my Hindi is not very good, but don't get carried away. हम लोग को बहना नहीं चाहिए हवा की तरह एक तरफ जहां हर कोई जा रहा है. We should not go. So that is the difference between an illiterate person and a literate person. So a literate person will analyze, will think critically whether the source from where we get so much of information is correct or not. So for that, critical thinking and creative thinking is very important, and we have to enhance these skills in our students. We have to investigate. So here, see, lens is there. We have to remove that and we have to investigate. Excuse me, which tower are you actually talking about? So somebody in this picture explains a lot about it. Somebody is actually talking about a tower. So the person is asking, excuse me, which tower are you actually talking about? मतलब हवा में तो बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. Let us know that, give us the evidence. Let us know what are you talking about. And here you have to have your own viewpoints in this. So this is the circle of viewpoint. Okay. So here the person, this is the circle of viewpoint. Here the one is thinking, I'm thinking of name of the event or any issue you can write from the point of view of, from whose point of view you are thinking about. Then second will tell, I think, describe the topic from the viewpoint, because explain your reasoning. Why you are telling, why your viewpoint is this about any topic. Then the third is a question or concern. I have from this viewpoint is, I have a question from this viewpoint. Okay, so you have to use, we all have to use the circle of viewpoints when somebody gives when some source comes or we get some answer. Okay, so first is I'm thinking of, that you can name any issue, some XYZ issue has come up or some event has come up. So you can name from the point of view of this one. Then describe what it is because, and give reason why you are thinking this. And for giving the reason, what you need to have? Critical thinking skills. And we have to teach more than us. We have to explain our children, because usually now the young generation, the students, like the children who are in standard 11, 12, you can say 9 to 12, the secondary children, senior secondary students, they get a lot of information. There are a lot of sources from which they gather a lot of information. So they do not have that capability, that skill to analyze whether everything is true or not. Whatever news is given, whatever sources they come up, they believe that that is true. So they do not use their own viewpoints. So for this, we have to explain our children that you have to use the viewpoint and you have to apply your critical. So for all this, doing all these arguments, for doing all this, for putting forward your viewpoint, what you have to do, you have to apply your thinking, your critical thinking skills. That comes under argumentative writing. हम लोग देते हैं ना बच्चों को in English also, Hindi also. We give the debatable kind of essays, the writing skills हम लोग देते हैं जिसमें argument करना होता है. We give lot of things we give about where the children brainstorm and come up with an idea. So that kind of a thing is given. So we read, compare, and then wonder. Okay, these three words are the very important. First of all, read the information, compare it with something. What is it? Is it correct? Is it not correct? We have to then wonder. We have to think, okay, that yes, it is correct or not correct. We have to think about it, wonder. We have to think that कहाँ से ये आया है, क्यों आया है, क्या मैंने इसके बारे पहले सुना था या नहीं सुना था. We have to wonder about it. So read, compare, and wonder is very important over here. Okay. So first is basic structure of it. So the most important, I mean, in English, in the language paper especially, the how we can improve the critical thinking skills of students is by giving them an argumentative essay, which is very important. First, they will write introduction about the topic, then argument 1, argument 2, 3, conclusion. So when they write the argument, that is the reason debates are very important, in which the children justify their point, whether that statement is correct or not. So structuring an argument. How do we structure the argument? First of all, claim karna hai. We have to claim. Then support. Claim is there. One claim has come. Maybe from the outside source that claim has come. Then we need to support with justification. Then question, counter claim. उसको हमको question करके counter claim करना है. ये नहीं कि whatever somebody is telling, we will accept it. So we have to counter claim also. And then comes the implication part. Then we have to imply or we have to implement whether that claim is correct or not. So the structure should be claim, support, and question. That is counterclaim. So that should be the structure. So make a claim, that is explanation, interpretation about the topic, identify, support. That means things you see, feel, and know for your claim. Ask a question related to your claim, what isn't explained. So this is the most important last part, the gist of the complete thing, the one first part of the session of creative and critical thinking. That is, we have to use our analytical part, our critical thinking skills we have to use, and we should make a claim, that is explanation part and interpretation about a topic. Then we have to identify, support it, what we see, we feel, and we know about our claim. What the claim is, whether it is our own or somebody else's outsource. We have to see that. Things you see, feel, and know for your claim, and ask a question related to your claim. What isn't explained? That question is to be asked. Okay. So anything you would like to ask, this is again, I'll repeat this, claim, support, and question. So a routine for clarifying truth claims. So we have to see the claim, support it with the things we see, feel, and know, and then for know what is there. And then question what isn't explained. Okay. Any questions, anything you would like to ask, you can put it in the chat box. If I see, I can just repeat it. So structuring an argument is very important. Claim, support, and question. So in the reading also, whenever we give a reading skill to the children, they should read, compare, and wonder. That's very important. So wonder is creatively they are thinking, they are reading it and comparing it logically, they are critically, they are comparing it. So read, compare, and wonder. So thank you teachers, thank you friends. Any question, any query you have, you can put it in the chat box. From my side, I end this session. Thank you so much. I'm open to questions, teachers. If you have any question, you can put it in the chat box. This is just one part of the session.